Have you ever wondered how a desert kingdom built some of the most iconic monuments on Earth and survived for thousands of years? Today, travel back in time to the banks of the Nile and uncover 7 real facts about ancient Egypt that show how this civilization rose, thrived, and fell over 3 millennia. So don't waste our time, let's get started our video. Fact number 1. More than 5,000 years ago, Egypt was not a single country like we know today. It was divided into 2 separate regions, called Upper Egypt in the south and Lower Egypt in the north. The people of Upper Egypt lived in narrow valleys surrounding vast deserts, while the people of Lower Egypt lived in the wide, fertile lands of the Nile Delta. Each region had its own king and its crown, with Upper Egypt using a tall white crown and Lower Egypt wearing a flat red crown. For many years, these 2 lands competed for power and control along the Nile River. Around 3100 BCE, a strong and ambitious ruler from Upper Egypt named King Narmer decided that Egypt should be one united land. He marched his army north, defeated the rulers of Lower Egypt, and brought both regions under a single rule. This historic victory marked the birth of ancient Egypt as one powerful kingdom. Proof of this great unification can be seen on the Narmer palette, an ancient carved stone that shows King Narmer wearing both the white crown of Upper Egypt and the red crown of Lower Egypt. Together, these crowns form the famous double crown, a symbol of unity over the 2 lands. After this, Narmer became the first pharaoh and established the first royal dynasty. Fact number 2. Around 2686 to 2181 BCE, a period known as the Old Kingdom of Egypt. During this time, Egyptians created one of the most famous monuments in human history. This era is often called the Age of the Pyramids because nearly all of the pyramids that still stand today were built during these centuries. Among them, the most famous is the Great Pyramid of Giza, constructed for the pharaoh called Khufu, around 2580 to 2560 BCE. When it was first completed, it stood about 146 meters tall, making it the tallest man-made structure in the world for thousands of years, a record it held until the Eiffel Tower was built in the 1800s. The Great Pyramid is made from roughly 2.3 million stone blocks, each weighing several tons, yet its sides are so perfectly aligned with north, south, east, and west that even modern engineers wonder how such accuracy was achieved. Many people think the pyramids were built by slaves, but that is not true. Modern archaeology shows they were built by skilled Egyptian workers and farmers who worked during the Nile flood season. They lived in organized villages, received good food, medical care, and respect for their work. The pyramids were not just tombs, but powerful symbols of faith and eternal life, showing how advanced and united ancient Egypt was. Fact number 3. Ancient Egypt became one of the greatest civilizations in history because of the Nile River. Flowing from south to north, the Nile River brought water and life to a land surrounded by desert. Every year it flooded its banks, that spreads rich black soil that made farming possible. The Egyptians built their calendar around the river, dividing the year into 3 seasons. They are Akhet, Peret, and Shemu. Akhet, known as flooding season, during this time they don't grow crops. Second is Peret, known as growing season. In this time they do farming. And third is Shemu. During this time they harvest their crops. They created canals and irrigation systems to control the water and grow crops like wheat and barley. The Nile was also their main transport route, helping people to travel and trade between cities. Because of the river, Egypt had food, wealth, and unity. The Egyptians even worshipped the Nile River as a gift from the gods, believing it was the source of life. Without the Nile River, there would be no ancient Egypt. Fact number 4, from 1550 to 1070 BCE, period is called the New Kingdom of Egypt. It was the peak of Egypt's power and glory. During this period, Egypt grew rich, expanded its lands, and built some of its famous monuments. One of the most remarkable rulers was Hatshepsut, a woman who became pharaoh and ruled just like a king, even wearing the royal false beard. She focused on trade and built impressive monuments, including her beautiful temple at Deir el-Bahari, and sent trading ships to the land of Punt. Another great leader was Ramesses II, also known as Ramesses the Great. He ruled Egypt over 60 years. He built enormous temples, statues, and led battles against Egypt's enemies like the Hittites. His most famous battle was the Battle of Kadesh, ended with one of the world's first peace treaties around 1258 BCE. The New Kingdom truly marked the golden age of Egypt. Before going on to next fact, you see video for this part. I think you like it. So subscribe our channel for more interesting videos and keep support us. Fact number 5, the Egyptians also believed that death was not the end. They think it's the beginning of a new life. They believed the soul could survive forever only if the body was preserved, which is why mummification was so important. Priests carefully removed the internal organs, dried the body with a natural salt called natron, and wrapped it in cloth bandages with protective amulets placed between the layers. The heart was usually left inside the body because it was believed to be the center of thoughts, emotions, and truth. The mummy was then placed in a decorated coffin and buried with food, treasures, and everyday items to be used in the afterlife. They also believed the should would face judgment after death. To help the dead pass safely, the Egyptians also used the Book of the Dead, a collection of spells and prayers written on papyrus and placed in tombs. One of the most important rituals was the weighing of the heart, where the heart was measured against the feather of Maat, the goddess of truth. If the heart was light and pure, the soul entered eternal paradise, but if it was heavy with sin, it was destroyed. This deep belief in the afterlife influenced Egyptians' religion, art, architecture, and daily life. And even today, their pyramids, tombs, and mummies show how strongly they believed in life beyond death. Fact number 6, the ancient Egyptians were not just great builders, they were also good in science. They studied the stars and created one of the first 365 days solar calendar, which helped them in plans and later influenced the calendar we use today. In medicine, they wrote texts like Edwin Smith Papyrus, describing real injuries, brain functions, and surgical treatments over thousands of years ahead of their time. Egyptian doctors used herbs, bandages, and surgery instead of relying only on magic. They were also amazing engineers in mathematics, using geometry to design the pyramids with perfect alignment to the compass and the stars. Their knowledge of astronomy, maths, and medicine proved that science and creativity were deeply connected, leaving a legacy that shaped future civilizations for centuries. Fact number 7, after thousands of years of greatness, Egypt slowly lost its power and independence. In the first millennium BCE, it was invaded by the Assyrians, who briefly ruled the land. Later, in 525 BCE, the Persians conquered Egypt under King Cambyses II, making it part of their empire. Then in 332 BCE, Alexander the Great defeated the Persians and took control. The Egyptians welcomed him as a liberator, and after his death, his general Ptolemy I founded the Ptolemaic dynasty. Greek rules Egypt for almost 300 years while following many Egyptian traditions. However, after their defeat by Octavian in 31 BCE, Egypt became a Roman province in 30 BCE, ending the age of the Pharaohs.